Did you yell America when you hit the accelerator?
Oh, no.
And now, your favorite two blue-collar nobodies to give you their quiet perspective, Star-Lord and Joey.
You can't handle the truth!
Welcome back to The Quiet Perspective. I am your hostess of hosts, Star-Lord, along here with Joey.
Here I am.
There he is. Today is September 22nd, 2021, and we are going to give you the State of Our Union. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to try this. It's just where we just talk about what the fuck's going on. So, what the fuck's been going on since our last podcast? I think the last one we covered was COVID. We had Afghanistan, so let's do a little bit of updating on that. Afghanistan. I don't remember if we talked about it specifically, but we know we had the soldiers die, and Biden said he was going to come out and take care of, whoever did all that.
Oh, yeah, that didn't go too good.
So, I don't remember if I said it when it happened, but they drone striked a ISIS-K guy as he was loading bombs into his car. And I remember saying, at least to the people around me, I know me and you talked about it, Joey.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way they knew who this guy was.
No.
And sure as shit, it came out this past Friday. Of course, they release it Friday. That way the news cycle will reset on Monday. It turns out he did not kill an ISIS-K member who was loading bombs. He killed an Allied aid worker and 7 children.
Yeah, that's kind of a fail, you know?
Big fail. Big fucking fail.
And look, yeah, we're picking on fucking Biden and this administration because that's just kind of like the icing on the cake as far as this whole fucked up pull out of Afghanistan. That being said, yes, we are aware, there are casualties, civilian casualties when drone strikes and all. It happens all the time. But
that's collateral damage.
Well, yeah, collateral damage.
Socks, the guy we had on here before, he tried to bring that point up to me. Yeah, I'm fully aware of collateral damage. I'm fully aware that mistakes will be made. None of them are really excusable, but some of them can be understandable. To me, this is a different situation. This was a single strike. All of it was wrong. And for the wrong he did it. It was posturing. He did it to show force, show I'm in charge. We're getting.
I'll
I think
respond.
They just picked yeah. It came from a bad spot, it was bad judgment from the beginning, all of it.
Well, the bad judgment in the beginning of this pullout is what led to that. It shouldn't even have happened to begin with,
It's just more of the shit show that is the pullout, and that is the icing on the cake. My big problem with the whole fucking issue with that, and all of it, the whole administration, what if Donald Trump had done that?
Oh, God. Yeah, that would have been another impeachment hearing, I'm sure, or something.
That's my big problem. We have not had our social media and mainstream media episode yet because there's so much to throw into that. But this is the media, again, being biased, not doing their fucking job. We are all about, at least as much as we can, being objective and being fair and honest, and they are not calling them. I mean, I haven't seen any damnation over the damn thing about it at all. About him kill 7 fucking kids, man.
Yeah.
And they lied about it. I think it was Miley, whatever. I think he was the one that came out. Might have been another Pentagon stooge. Came out and said when it happened, it was a successful strike. Yes, there were some people killed from secondary explosions. That's a fucking lie because there were no secondary explosions because they tried to tell us the guy was loading bombs. He was loading like water jugs. So I don't know what kind of combustible fucking water they're drinking over there, but there shouldn't have been no secondary explosions.
Yeah, that was instant. They knew right when it happened. They fucked up, I'm sure, and that was we'll just say this.
Yeah, I think there's it's a cover up, and the biggest thing is what's come down the pipe is there will be no disciplinary action on anybody. They've actually said that, and to me, somebody's got to be held. I mean, where'd the intel come from? Who green lighted the attack, which the buck stops with Biden, according to Biden. So I truly believe that something should be done about it. If a phone call is the standard for impeachment, I think 7 kids and innocent civilians should definitely be impeachable, along with the 13 soldiers and the whole pullout. And more update: the people getting beheaded over there. Women are no longer allowed to go outside. They're getting beaten. Video. There's all kinds of video and stuff coming out of Afghanistan. It's a real shit show.
Yeah,
It hasn't gotten better.
I mean, I'm totally surprised. You know, the way they pulled out. I mean, I just thought it would be like fucking kumbaya, and our American people would be back by now. This totally took me by surprise that this went bad.
Yeah, and the big thing again about the media, they're hush on it. They're not pushing them on. They're not pushing the administration. They're trying to push it out of the news cycle. And
oh yeah, now it's fucking now Biden's talking about global warming and shit. You know.
Oh yeah, just without skipping a beat, just skips over it and talking about global warming. Speaking of current event, what's the guy's name? He was with not Josh Brolin, the UN guy or the France ambassador. I don't know who the fuck it was, but he was. Did you see he was talking to him in the White House, and the guy started talking, and the media started talking over that guy to ask Biden questions, and we all know Biden can't field questions without his pre-written answers. And his handlers just started yelling over the.
Yeah, and I heard that the White House media is going to be, they're filing charges or some shit about it.
They filed a formal complaint. Boris Johnson.
Yeah, a formal complaint, not charges, but.
But I mean, come on! Is it not obvious that this man is incapable of? He's not running this shit, man. And whoever is, and if it is him, they're all fucking it up. The big news. Another thing, the media is not, and this one hits us personally down here south. We're here in Texas. The border crisis. Holy shit, what's going on down there right now?
Nothing.
So,
if you ask the Biden administration.
Yeah, well, the liberal mentality is there's nothing going on.
Well,
it's either there's nothing going on or there should just be open borders. Get the fuck over it.
Well, when he turned around and walked away from the whatever press conference he was doing yesterday or the day before, and somebody yelled, "What about the border? This or that?" and he, like, over his shoulder yelled, we're going to handle the border, or we're going to take care of the border situation, or however he said it. Well, he just fucking admitted there was a situation by saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to handle if there's no problem down there? Up until that, they've been denying a crisis at the border.
Yeah. The numbers, by and large, are through the fucking roof. Biggest numbers we've seen in, I think it's 20 years. Del Rio, Texas, currently, this is our side of the border, under a bridge, under an overpass, there's about 14,000 illegal Haitians just sitting there. There's images. Fox News was flying the little drone over, getting pictures and stuff. And then the Biden administration, if you will, or the FAA, said, hey, you can't run that drone over it because they don't want the images getting out. At least that's my perception of it. Why else would you say, Del Rio, you can't fly your drone over Fox News? Come on.
Well, yeah, if that, now I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's not a no drone flying zone any other day of the week.
It's not.
It just happens to be when there's 14,000 illegal Haitians under a bridge.
Yeah. Ted Cruz, he went out after that happened. Ted Cruz went over there. Senator here from Texas went over there to Del Rio and was taking his own pictures and stuff. And the images are, I mean, if CNN would put that stuff out, people would see how bad it really is down here with the illegal immigration. And I mean, that's a whole nother episode in itself, but none of us here at the Quiet Perspective have a problem with immigration, with immigrants. We just care about the legal way to do it and our sovereign border. That's all there is to it. I don't care what color you are, what country you come from.
I don't care about immigrants. I care about illegal immigrants.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the narrative a lot of people like to push. Conservatives and Republicans, they're all racist. It has nothing to do with race. It's about legality.
Yeah.
Simple fact of the matter is we can't take in millions and thousands of, and it is millions. It's millions. We can't take in millions from other countries and sustain them, on welfare and whatever, because they're not going to come. They're not doctors coming over. These are the poorest of the poor. And Trump got chastised for saying it, but yes, there are criminals coming over. There are shitheads coming over.
And there's good people in those groups that want to just come over here and work and make a living and live out the rest of their lives without having to worry about getting their fucking heads cut off by the cartel. But
absolutely,
sorry, I mean, do it legally. There is a process. And I've said before, I think they need to kind of streamline that process. It is kind of bullshit that it takes, 10 or 12 years to get your citizenship. I think that's a little ridiculous because it's not because they're constantly doing something or working towards it. It's just the whole bureaucracy of it. It takes that long to get processed. So they do need to fix that, but at the same time, there is a process and it needs to be followed.
From what I've heard, too, it's a very expensive process to do it legally. And here's something you won't hear people generally talk about from the conservative side point of view is, yes, I believe in immigration reform. Like you said, we should definitely streamline it, make it easy. But at some point, people also need to realize, first of all, open borders ain't going to fucking work. You can't just open your borders and let everybody in. That being said, you have to have a cutoff point, and you have to be selective about who you let in. Let's face it, we won the lottery being born American. That's just the way it is.
Well, everybody outside of America thinks that, that's why they're all trying to come here. And then a lot of people here do, but it's the people who are for open borders that don't realize that. They're the ones that think this is a horrible country anyway, and just let everybody in. And yeah, like you said, that's not going to work.
You can't do it. It's not sustainable. And then especially the way they want to do it, they just want open borders, walk on in. We'll take care of you when you get to Nebraska. I guess we'll figure out who you are. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And there's so many stories out there where the guy's been deported 6 times and then he kills a cop or rapes a woman, kills a kid. It's happening all the time. So yes, we have to be very selective on who we're letting in.
Well, and with an open border with a person who's not a citizen, even if they're here legally, like they've got their paperwork started or, however that works, and they've got their temporary visa or whatever it is, and they commit a crime like that, a crime punishable by deportation, open border just means we're going to pay to send him back over the border, and then he's going to walk right back in.
Yeah.
So,
and it's happening all over the place. The Biden administration's responding. So we've got cops, the Border Patrol down here, and our governor and mayors down on the border right now are begging the Biden administration for help. A lot of governors down here in the South have actually tried to open a forum up to the Biden administration, and they won't respond. They are begging for help right now. Of course, we know the Biden administration stopped the wall, and it's the influx is ridiculous right now. So much so that we've got images of it. I'll pop that up here. The Border Patrol actually made a barricade of cars to make their own wall. It's getting out of control. To me, it's a common sense issue. I hate it when they say walls don't work. Walls, by definition, work. It's a fucking wall.
Well, that's because we're looking at what's happening right now with all these people just streaming across the border on foot. A wall would work there. They always say, they'll just dig tunnels. Okay, well, it's a lot harder to dig a fucking tunnel,
than it is to walk.
Yeah, for a half a mile or whatever than to walk. So let's at least make it harder on them, maybe. But it's not worth that. I mean, really?
Are we just gonna, make murder not illegal because it doesn't work anyway?
Yeah,
because people are still murdering. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but East Germany, West Germany was separated by something that kept those two people apart, and it wreaked a lot of fucking havoc because it fucking worked. I don't remember what it was, but there was something right there.
What did Reagan say to that? What did he say, Mr. President? Tear that what down?
That wall.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a wall. It was a wall.
Holy shit.
Fucking believable. Walls around prisons. But those are different circumstances. Everybody says, shut the fuck up.
Well, and
don't be stupid.
The funny thing about that too, the Berlin Wall, part of the reason that wall worked really well is because nobody was stupid enough to try to dig a fucking tunnel over there, because when you cross borders in other countries, you get fucking shot.
Yeah.
You don't get a fucking hot meal and a bed and, a new house and shit like that, like you do over here.
That's another big fallout from this whole situation. The Biden administration put out a presser or whatever saying that they're starting to put people on flights and ship them back to Haiti. But reports are coming down from sources inside the immigration, what do you call it, Border Patrol, that they lied about that these airplanes are going inward into the United States and shipping people to cities. They're releasing supposedly all the single males, they're sending them back, but any family units or any women who are pregnant or claim to be pregnant are being shipped into the United States. And that is reported by sources.
Right,
in
and then they can
Border
have
Patrol.
their fucking anchor babies, and then their parents can come, the dads can come over.
Yeah. Let's talk about what this is really about. By and large, the liberal mentality is bring in as many illegals as possible because when they can vote, because all they want to do is legalize them, they're going to vote for Democrats. And let's face it, if they legalize all the illegals, I think they actually tried to get it passed through with this last budget bill they're trying to do. Thank God it got stopped by the parliamentarian, whatever the hell she was called. But it'd be like about 14 million people would be legalized.
God.
And if they all vote Democrat, you'll never see another Republican president, senator, governor, anything. I mean, it's a power grab. It's
And
wrong.
those people-
it's disgusting for all the wrong reasons.
Those people coming from Haiti or even fucking Mexico that haven't been over here before, they don't know what the fuck it's like over here. So they're just going to they're going to think they're voting for the people that saved their lives and got them to America, and then those people are going to turn around and turn this place into a shithole like they came from.
Yeah. And again, they always try to claim the refugee status and shit, and that's been abused so beyond all belief. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's just like every other thing, and every other federal law and all that. There's loopholes for everything.
Yep. Let's see. We had an episode on COVID. There's always updates for COVID. Jesus Christ. So the big new update. Remember we talked about the two FDA officials who resigned their position because they said that everything's being pushed by the Biden administration, not by science. So they resigned their position.
Right.
Well, the FDA did actually come. So the Biden administration came out and said here recently, we're going to approve boosters, second booster shots for everybody. The FDA actually came out and said, no, we are not approving that. But the Biden administration is still trying to roll that out.
I think actually that clip that we put up when we were talking about those two FDA officials, that was what that was about.
Yeah.
That was about the boosters.
Exactly. And so here we go. We're supposed to follow the science, but now we got the administration saying this and the science saying "fuck you, administration," which is that's a big thrill and a shock to me. That those two not being in complete cahoots. That says there's a little bit something right going on. But who do you follow at that point? All kinds of new studies coming out. Dr. Fauci came out and said how horrible it was to see these college football stadiums full of people. It's a super spreader, it's unwise to be unmasked and everything out there. And the big rule of thumb is wait 2 weeks because that's when the data will come out. Apparently, all these football stadiums, they use the SEC, the Southeastern Conference of College Football, as an example. There has not been a big spike in COVID in all of those states. In fact, it's all gone down around 40%.
Yeah,
So,
I saw a headline. I didn't read the article, but saw a headline on Yahoo when I opened up my web browser on my phone the other day, and it said something about study shows that we may be nearing the end of the pandemic. This thing may go into endemic status soon. So it's like
it went into endemic status a long time ago. They didn't. I read that. It is not at pandemic status by the numbers. It does not qualify as pandemic.
Yeah.
But you're not going to hear that fucking anywhere. They need you to live in fear. Here's another interesting thing I heard today. So we use Israel and the UK as a good stepping stone where we're going to go with COVID, how COVID's reacting, because they're a bit smaller. They got to jump on the vaccines and everything over us. Turns out here now that, and this is from a study, we'll have to look it up again and bring it up. 70% of the hospitalized people with COVID in the UK, 70%, that's the actual number, are already vaccinated.
Sure they are. Because like I've been saying, and that COVID episode we did, I brought up the little art, the little, I think it was that Facebook post from that lady. She was the toxicologist, whatever. And, and she said, and the head of the CDC, that the lady, the director, she said, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can't catch and spread it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said that months ago.
Well, my big thing is
they're now acting like, well, because it's the Delta variant now, bullshit. That's been going on the whole time.
yeah.
They
The,
said that.
the mainstream media basically pushes this as if you're not vaccinated, you're a piece of shit. It's a crime against humanity. You're fine if you get vaccinated, and the numbers are starting to come out. I think by the time we get to the end of all this, vaccination isn't going to mean shit.
I don't think it.
If anything, it's going to mean maybe you had lesser symptoms. It's not going to stop COVID, especially the Delta variant. The vaccine is not effective against the Delta variant. That's the big news coming out.
Well, they need to be treating this thing instead of relying on that vaccine, because that vaccine's losing efficacy every time there's a variant. It's the same vaccine from the beginning. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And they got medicines that have been shown to be treating this shit. That people, I hate to say it, but rich people like Joe Rogan, he's one of the ones. He got the same. He said they threw the kitchen sink at it. Right? The hydroxychloroquine, the ivermectin, the, what was that? The monoclonal antibody treatment or whatever. Oh, did you hear about that, by the way, with what fucking Biden did to Florida?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Their socialized medicine. So he did it to Florida and Texas. Florida and Texas are using the monoclonal antibodies to do the treatment, but that goes against the spoken narrative. So they don't want you doing that. So the administration pulled back on releasing. So this is what happens when the government runs everything. They reduced the amount of monoclonals going to Texas and Florida by 50%.
Yeah.
And their reasoning was, well, we're trying to make it fair for all the other states. We want to make sure everybody gets equal amounts. That's socialized medicine. The problem there is Texas and Florida are using them, the other states aren't. And the way medicine works is it goes where the fucking need is. It doesn't go, well, we're going to give, what if California doesn't need any? They're just going to fucking sit over there and rot?
California's probably 99% vaccinated. They should be safe, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's the problem?
Absolutely.
So give our hillbilly stupid asses the monoclonal antibody treatments because, we're refusing the vaccine, or, we probably have the highest numbers of people not getting it. And let's see how that works out.
It's funny you bring that up. So I'm sure you saw the article about the 3 Texas black women who got into a fight in New York over not showing their vaccine passport.
Oh, yeah, that was racism.
Well, the MOB, BLM came out and they started protesting and stuff. Well, now they're protesting a lot of these vaccine passport mandates because, in relation to what you just said, believe it or not, the big narrative is it's Trumpers and stupid fucking conservatives who aren't vaccinated. That's actually not true. By and large, it's minorities, blacks and Latinos who are not getting vaccinated, believe it or not. And by and large, they usually vote Democrat.
Well, and I'm fucking white and I'm not getting it, So, that's what the numbers are showing though.
Oh yeah.
Well,
by far.
They're also saying that that's not because they don't want to have it. It's because it's not available, in these areas where the poor areas of cities that have more minorities, which I find that hard to believe.
Here's another one. We can combine immigration and COVID. Psaki, Jen Psaki, the redheaded ginger press lady, was asked, why aren't migrants being tested for COVID? And
but migrants aren't. The illegal immigrants streaming across the border, they're not getting tested. But
do you know why?
People visiting from other countries are.
Or if you're a national U.S. citizen and you're coming back, you have to be vaccinated. But did you hear her reason why they aren't being tested, the illegals?
Yes, wasn't it the illegals? They're not planning on staying here?
They're not staying long? Well, when I go to a fucking restaurant, I'm not setting up shop and gonna camp the night. Why do I gotta wear a fucking mask? Why do I gotta be vaccinated? I'm not staying long. What the fuck kind of answer is that? So here's why I don't take COVID as serious as the media wants you to take it. You have to wear a mask. You have to be vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. What about this mayor bitch in San Francisco? Did you see that story?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so they have a mask mandate in San Francisco. They're actually mandating vaccines for students over there in San Francisco. This bitch gets caught out at a nightclub dancing her ass off with no mask on.
Well, yeah,
And
it's what's good
hold on,
for
her
thee is not for
response
me.
is gold. Exactly. Her response is gold. She says, "Well, I was in the moment." And she said this, I swear to God. She was in the, and when you feel it, you're just feeling it. You're not thinking about grabbing a mask. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's how, why is that situation okay, but not the average? Like you said, it's for what's for me and it's bullshit. I'm not thinking about it when I go to a restaurant. The whole
Yeah, I'm
point
not
is
thinking about that when I go to the grocery store,
exactly.
you know?
I mean, if you're going to sit there and think that that's acceptable, that you didn't wear a mask, that whatever, I mean, just think about it logically, time wise. Okay, that was 15 minutes in a club. You know, what about me? 15 minutes at a grocery? It's the same fucking circumstance, people. In an uncontrolled environment, masks do nothing. It's as simple as that.
Well, this is
And
just like after all the mask bullshit, all the mandates came down, and Pelosi got caught getting her fucking hair did at a salon that was supposed to be
yep,
closed, and she walked in, didn't wear a mask the whole time. I mean, and that
yep,
was last year when this shit all started. So they,
yep. The Obama birthday party, nobody there wearing masks. Oh my God, did you see the Emmys?
yes, yeah.
The Emmys, nobody there wearing masks except the staff, the wait staff, everybody there, and that's a damning image to me. That we are living in a hierarchy, a patriarchy, a caste system. These people think they are above us, but they want, but all the servers and everybody wearing masks, dude. That's disgusting. It's a disgusting display of power and just want to rip their fucking heads off.
Well, did you also hear talking about, you know, celebrities and politicians and all that? You know, did you hear about the big hullabaloo that's going on with Nicki Minaj now?
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah,
And
she's like,
normally a
fuck that.
leftist, but she came out and said, "Hey, my cousin's friend's balls got swollen from the vaccine and shit." So now they're chastising her. She can't
Oh,
talk about it.
they supposedly fucking spoke to somebody down in Trinidad and found out that wasn't even true. But you know, whether it was true or not, she may have made that up just because she don't want to fucking get it. She doesn't trust it, and she just didn't want to say it that way. But
My big
she's
thing
like,
is
fuck y'all, you know?
the media is in control, and if you go against the narrative, you are chastised. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But cooler heads are starting to prevail. Bill Maher, of all people,
He's been
liberal,
speaking out on quite a bit of this liberal shit for
yes,
a little while now.
yep, been
Not just
coming
the
out saying
COVID.
against the vaccine and stuff. Just saying, he actually said the media is trying to scare the shit out of people, and he's right. And what I like about it, I think it's starting to hit pocketbooks. He was bringing it up because he actually said he's not getting a lot of people to show up at his shows in blue states, but he can in red states. And I think that's what it's going to take is when these motherfuckers start feeling it in their own pocket, but when they got to start dealing with shit. Imagine if the San Francisco mayor had to wear the mask, if Pelosi had to wear her mask, Obama had to wear it, they'd be pissed off. But the simple fact of the matter is they go, you know what, fuck you, I ain't doing it. But when we do it, we're getting arrested. We're getting, I mean, hell, look at fucking Australia. People are getting pelted for protesting, pelted in the back with beanbag, rubber bullets and shit. It is bad over there right now.
Yeah.
All over the world. France is protesting.
When all that shit kicked off in Australia, I don't know if I mentioned this in the COVID episode, but I read an article about there was a guy that got arrested because he was sitting in his front yard with his daughter on his lap and they didn't have masks on and they fucking arrested him.
Yep.
I'm thinking that shit ain't happening over here.
It's getting bad, man. And it needs to stop. We talked COVID to death, I think, but it's going to run its course. There ain't shit we can fucking do about it.
Yeah.
In other news, speaking of the elitists, did you see AOC? They went to this Met Gala. Did you hear? I don't even know what the fucking Met Gala is.
Stupid ass.
AOC.
The irony.
Going to a $40,000 plate ticket, dinner, whatever the fuck it is, and she's wearing a dress that says "Tax the Rich." The optics there. I mean, come on, dude. No go.
but it shouldn't matter though, because I saw an argument on Facebook about that. Somebody was saying, "Hey, that's bullshit. Look how ironic it is. She's saying that at this deal with all rich people." But she was given the ticket. It doesn't matter if she paid for the fucking ticket. She's out there at this event rubbing elbows with all these rich elite people that she supposedly hates.
Yeah. And to make it even worse, because she propped up the person who made the dress as a struggling minority, blah, 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 blah. Turns out the lady who made the dress has got like several warrants from the IRS. She owes like, I don't know how many thousands of dollars in back taxes, didn't take money out of her employees' tax. She's in trouble with the IRS big time.
Well, yeah, so she's struggling, but it sounds like it's her own fault, you know?
Yeah. So just more elitist irony and bullshit. Another fucking fail, the Biden administration. Did you hear about this? I mean, the world is falling apart around the Biden administration. The media doesn't give a shit. Nobody seems to call them on it. Did you hear that France actually recalled the U.S. ambassadors over a broken submarine deal?
Yes. Yeah, I heard about that.
So supposedly we were supposed to sell some submarines to France, and we reneged on the deal, gave it to Australia and the UK, and it pissed France off. And yeah, it's just posturing, it's just optics. He recalls the U.S. ambassadors. He recalls the France ambassadors from the U.S. But that's a big thing. It really is. You know, that's France saying, "Hey, you guys are pissing us off." Another fucking ally that we turned our backs on, just like in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I mean, the world is fucking falling apart around this administration, and nobody seems to give a shit.
They don't, or they.
I mean, if
they
any
refuse
one of these
to
things
acknowledge it at the very least.
Any one of these things happen under the Trump presidency, you know, impeachment, piece of shit. He's a racist. It's treason.
He's destroying the country.
I mean. Again, media, we need some bias, some unbiased objectivity here. Call it for what it is. Jesus Christ. Anything else, Joey? Anything else? Any other pressing fucking matters?
No, I wish we had something more positive to talk
Do we
about.
have anything positive?
I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but that's kind of the big stories going on right now.
Oh, I got one. I want to talk about this. Brian Laundrie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The guy that killed or allegedly killed that girl.
Yeah, I want to talk about this because this is the biggest news everywhere. I scroll through my Facebook. What do you call that? Is it a timeline? News feed?
Timeline.
Whatever. I scroll through the feed. Every other page. And I hate you, Fox News, for this. I hate you. You are a part of the problem. It says, first on Fox. And it'll have a video. And it'll be about them. Got one right here. First time dad leaves in 2 weeks. And it's a video of him walking from his truck to his house. And then there's another video of him walking to check his mail. And then there's a story about the cops bringing in donuts and pizza.
The guy's dad?
Yeah, the dad.
Who gives a fuck?
Apparently, the entire country is enamored with this. One, I don't fucking understand why. I don't really care. I mean, it's a tragedy. It's news. But why is this one person national news? What's up with that? I mean, seriously, I am asking. I don't understand.
Well, I'm not sure what channel it was on, but the host of the show is a black
Joy
lady.
Reid.
Joy Reid. Yeah, and it's apparently it's racism. Is what it is.
Yeah, it's missing white woman syndrome.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a thing, and maybe she's on to something about. I mean, there's definitely some sort of weird connection. I mean, my wife personally, she watches that ID murder shit like 24 hours a day. I don't fucking understand it. But
what's that? The guy that used to be a cop, he's a YouTuber now. He's conservative. I cannot think of his name. I'm subscribed to him, but I cannot think of his name. Anyway, I watched a video of him talking about that earlier, and he goes, it ain't got nothing to do with race.
No, it doesn't.
He said everybody in America is glued to the ID channel and murder mysteries and missing persons shows and shit like that. That's why it's news, because it's people want to see it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
You're right. It is. There is an interest in it to be. I mean, and I'm not chastising anybody for it. I'm saying it's definitely a cultural thing. But to me, sit down and actually think about that. That's really weird and fucked up and twisted if you really think about it.
Well, I mean, have that be a show a year or two from now on one of these shows we watch. Why? Can you imagine being that girl's parents and fucking seeing this shit on 24 hours a day?
Yeah, I mean, you peek through the blinds. Big news media. Father, peek through blinds. Watch it now. And I shit you not. There was a video of him checking the mail. A video of him coming back from his truck. A video of the cops taking donuts and pizza into the house. It's fucking this. To me, this is what's wrong with the media. They're looking for rating. I mean, that's not news. The guy walking to his truck, that's not fucking news. But if you read through the comments, thoughts and prayers, I mean, motherfucker, the dad's not reading that shit. Shut the fuck up. People are enamored with it, and to me, it's just really fucking weird.
Well, and one other thing, while everybody's focusing on that, they're not focusing on Biden.
Yeah,
that's one thing too.
I actually read a comment about that. You're right. Fox News is not very much different than CNN. They push their own narrative. They do try to do their own thing. I think they're a little bit more honest than CNN is about it, and they do obviously have a conservative point of view. But I think they're just as bad as far as this shit.
Well, it's all about ratings.
It's all about ratings. It's disgusting. I got one of two things I want to talk about to end this show with. Now, I'll let you pick which one you want to do, Joey, because we talked about it earlier. Crocs, what the fuck, or this really cool TV show that I just watched on Netflix. What do you want to talk about?
The Netflix show.
Okay, so it's a Korean show. It's one season, and it's called Squid Game. And this show is really neat. It's Korean. It's in Korean or Mandarin, whatever, and it's dubbed in English. So some of the translations hokey and retarded. But the whole premise of the show is you get some people who are down on their luck. They're in debt big time, so they get kidnapped, put into this huge game. Everything's equal, and they play these child games. The first game's red light, green light. But essentially, when you lose a game, you get killed. And it's a whole season. I seriously suggest everybody watch it. It ends really well. It's a really twisted, really cool game. Kind of like Saw, but the people actually choose to be there. Yeah. It's really interesting. I hope they make another season. It ended really well. Really surprised. It's very well directed, and the production values are good. And there's some funny stuff in it, some sad stuff. It's really good. There's some good twist in it. Some really good twist in it. I highly recommend it.
Sounds different. You know me, I'm not really big on anything with subtitles and shit like that, but
no, it's dubbed, so you can listen to it. So yeah. Definitely worth it. I would recommend it. It's a good show. So with that, we're gonna end our State of the Union for September 22nd, 2021. This is Star-Lord and Joey signing off.